Hey everybody, welcome back to Lamson Family Farms. It is the first full week of May. So today is Monday, May 6th. And Willa and I are off to go dig some holes. I've got Willa and I actually have Winnie right now. So she's back out. Kicked her out of the commercial kitchen a couple days ago and she's doing pretty good. So she is spayed and has healed from her spay. And she is back outside living her outdoor life again. It's been a long time since she's been outside. So she had her kittens in February. And so she's been in the commercial kitchen since probably the last couple weeks of January. So she's ready. She likes being outside. Okay, so my projects for this week are still working on the fencing for that field. I'm getting pretty close. This last weekend I put out the string for the second half of the field, and I'm still working on digging the fence post holes for the wooden posts. I'm hoping to finish that up within the next couple of days, and then this weekend we're going to get the truck out and go buy more T-posts and more, we're going to buy the wooden fence posts. So I'm looking at right now, this last week, the Baltimore Orioles have come out and they are fabulous. They are so pretty. I'm looking at a pair of them in an apple tree along the field. Just beautiful. We've had a lot of warblers out. We saw 2 beavers on the horseshoe of the creek the other day. It was really cool. There was a beaver out eating grass, and then there was a baby beaver swimming in the creek. It was so adorable. So I've been working on that fence. I'm really hoping by the end of next week that it will be done, because if I buy the wooden fence posts this following weekend and get those set, the concrete will have to dry. I'm mostly leaning towards doing concrete at this point. So those will need to set, and then the T-post will be super easy. And then I'll have to buy more line and get it strung up. So I haven't quite decided what kind of electric fence situation I want to do here. I have the better part of half of a roll of, what is it called? Poly wire. And I also have a roll of poly tape. So I'm leaning towards either just buying all poly rope and doing poly rope, or doing poly tape on the top line so it's more visible to horses and deer, or doing the top line as poly tape and then doing the bottom 2 lines as either poly rope or poly wire. I haven't really decided yet. Poly wire would be nice because I have it. But poly rope would be better if I ever want to take the fence down, because it's more reusable than poly wire. I don't know. I don't really think I'm going to want to take the fence down, but I have I always get these confused, poly wire and poly rope. So I have poly wire. I think poly rope would look better, but I'm trying to use what I have. So I don't know, still undecided. Yeah. So I'm thinking about doing poly tape on the top part of the fence, because I'm worried that the deer don't see the fence and they will try to run through it. Because where I've got the horses right now behind the barn, every now and then someone will knock the poly wire off of the fence, and I don't think it's my horses. I think it's deer, because they just don't see it. And so they run into it and then they panic, and then they end up pulling it all the way off. Like generally a whole corner will be pulled off, and then it just knocks the fence down, and I don't want to have to worry about that. And I know, especially the further out from our barn and house area I get, the more that I'm going to have to worry about deer. So I want it to be visible to the deer. It's just, the problem is I don't love the look of poly tape. And so I think it would look better if I did all poly wire or poly rope, but I don't think that's going to be the smartest option, even though I think it looks best. So that's kind of where I'm at with the fencing. The other part of it is if I do the poly tape, I will need to go buy more insulators because I don't have insulators for poly tape. I have insulators for poly rope and poly wire. But in any case, that's something I'm just going to keep mulling over for a while, and it's going to be another problem for a different day. So, but today I am going to keep on working on digging the post holes. I'm on the backside of the fence now, closest to the trees where I'm doing that gate that will meet up with the big field, and I have definitely found the rocks. So I've been working away at it, but it's just slow going because, like, I think yesterday I worked for probably about an hour, and I probably got about 5-6 inches in one of the holes because there's just a lot of rocks. So I'm going to keep on with it today, and I'll just go until I need to take a break. It's almost the middle of the day now, and as you can see, it's quite sunny. So I don't know. I'll probably work at it for a bit and come back tonight. Hey everybody. So one of the other projects that I'm working on this week is the tack room. I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want the baby goats to hear me. And I've started to separate them. So I've been slowly putting them in with the big goats because they don't need to be in the maternity ward. It's getting warm in there. You know, there's eight kids, and it's a lot of urine also. So I'm trying to kick them out into the big space. They've had their morning bucket, and then they get a bucket of milk at night. So they've had their morning bucket, and I put the three wethers and I've got one intact buckling that I'm keeping. So I put the boys in with the big girls, and I've got the 4 girls still in the maternity ward. And so I'm trying to start working with them on the girls get separated and the boys get separated. I'm not worried about the intact buckling doing anything with my big girls. They're not in heat anyway. So Nubians are seasonal breeders, and I'm just not worried about it. But eventually the little girls will go with the big girls, and I'll need to see if I can put the little boys in with my boys already, because Poe especially is, he's very playful, but he's big, and so he's 2, and he's only going to get bigger, but he's going to be too much, I think, for the little boys, because this is also the first summer I've been able to put Annie, who's our year-old buckling, in with Poe, and I really had to monitor that because, you know, Poe likes to headbutt, and he's so much bigger that he could end up hurting the little boys. And so for a while I had to keep Poe on like a 15-foot tie in the section, so Annie would have a spot to run away from Poe, to get away from Poe. Part of the problem with Poe and Annie is that they actually really like each other, and so Annie will try to play with Poe, but Poe's just too big. So anyway, I've got them together now, and it seems okay. We'll see what happens this year when everybody's in rut. But you know, I'm wanting to keep Morrison, who's our intact buckling from this year. I really like him, and so I might get to the point where I have to have Morrison and a wether or 2 in a separate pen from my other boys. So anyway, long story short, I'm starting to work on getting the little goat kids out of the maternity ward. I did just peek my head in on, so we've got 2 windows that peek into the big goat area, and I just went and looked, and the little boys are in there eating hay, which is great. So I'm just going to try to be quiet and start working on my projects here. So you can see behind me that I've been working on the cabinets. It's going pretty well. Let me just flip you around. So I've got the upper cabinets all done, and I've got my shelf installed. So everything in there is good, and I've got some just like horse brushes and sprays, but I've got my shelf in there, and so that's all set. And then before I put the bottom cabinets in, I did just these first 3 boards on the wall so that I could get in there before I did the bottom cabinets. And so I have installed the bottom cabinets. I did attach it to the wall, and now I need to go redo my shim on the bottom because as of right now it's actually floating, just because this room tends to tip a little bit this way. So this side has about like a 1/2 inch gap from it to the floor, and that's what I had to do to get it level. So I'm going to be working on that today, and then I think I'm going to keep going on these boards for the wall. I did end up just using the boards I had set aside for the last horse wall in their area, but I didn't really want to do plywood in here. I don't know. I think I like the look of these boards better. And because this is going to be a tack room, I want it to look nice, and it's going to be a shared space for everyone. So I will do something else for the horse area. In fact, I'm leaning towards doing a gate instead of a wall over there, but I'm going to keep on with that. And then I think for, because we took off the countertop, and so I'm going to need to redo that. So I'm just going to do plywood as the base layer, and then I'm either going to take extra pieces of this wood that I have to match the wall, or I'm also thinking about using that countertop as my first time trying tile. I've never done tile before, and I have a couple other areas. Well, I've got 2 areas in the commercial kitchen that I want to do tile, and I don't want to hire someone to come do it. I really just want to try it myself. I've got the bathroom in the commercial kitchen, and then the office space that I want to do as tile. So I'm thinking this might be a good experience for me to try tile, and I could do tile countertop, and then I could maybe do it like a tile backsplash. Because while the wood would be nice, I'd have to really put a few layers of polyurethane on it because I don't want it getting ruined if like someone spills something. And so because this is also going to be a tack room and the primary area for like horse birders to come and hang out, I'm also thinking about doing like a coffee tea station here. So I do want the countertop to be something that if somebody spills, it's not going to be a big deal. I think it's really cute. The cats are over here napping. I moved their beds that they had in the commercial kitchen out here on these round bales, and you can see Ansla's asleep on the left and Winnie just put herself up there on the right. Hey everybody, welcome back. So today is Tuesday. Yesterday I worked on a good chunk of this wall. It's going along pretty smoothly. It's not terribly hard when it's just the full board length, but I don't know if you can see the one with the smaller gap. There are actually metal beams, like you can see the one right there, that kind of stick out a little bit. So that section I had to do a couple of boards, and I'll patch it later, and I'm going to paint this wall white so it won't be too noticeable. But I'm coming along on the wall. Yesterday I was able to take this gate out that was here, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one more board that will cover that metal beam, and then I have a bunch of smaller pieces from what I cut off of each of those. I'll put those horizontally on that last section. I'm not worried about it looking different because a lot of it will be covered up anyway, because as you can see with this saddle that's on a rack, by the time I put either saddle stands or cabinets, you won't see that anyway. So I'm going to keep working on that today, but I needed to sit down for a little bit. I just brought the cows in, and oh my gosh, it's very hard to move those 2 cows together at the same time. So I've been putting the cows out on the alfalfa field now that the alfalfa is really coming up. And I usually only do a couple hours at a time because I'm a little worried about them getting bloated. So far it's been fine. They're fine. If anything, it's very ironic because now that I've put them out on grass and alfalfa, they look skinnier than when they were on hay. So anyway, I just brought them in because while I've been putting them out there, I haven't been putting their water out there. So every few hours they're thirsty. And they actually like to lay down and chew their cud in the shade for the afternoons anyway. So I just brought them into the barn. I think I'm just gonna have to start doing them bringing them in one at a time, because with both of them it's very difficult. And to be fair, part of the problem is that Ray, my standard cow, I have her on a collar right now, which is not great for controlling her because she'll just put her weight into it and man, she just tugs you around. Hyacinth is very easy to walk. She's very well halter trained, and she's also a mini, so while she does kind of have that low momentum, she's so well trained. She's easy. She's very easy. Anyway, so I'm gonna keep working on this. I also like to not be out in the sun in the middle of the afternoon now. It's getting very hot. And so I've been trying to do all of my outside projects in the morning or in the evening. And then I'm trying to do barn things or like commercial kitchen things in the afternoon. So like I've also been working on updating our website in the afternoon. I just cleaned up the commercial kitchen this afternoon. Now that we've got the cats out of it, I'm giving it everything a good clean. And I'm also getting it ready because I think I'd like to partially rent it out. I don't use it a whole lot right now. We clean the milking supplies in it, and eventually I'll be making soaps. But other than that, I don't really use it. And so I thought it would be nice to offer it for a partial rent. That's the girls. So yeah, and I can see the horses are also undercover. You know, it's hot, everybody's eaten, and it's time to lay down and beat the heat. So, okay, I'm gonna get going on this wall. Today is Friday morning. It's pretty rainy today. Right now I'm just cleaning up the dishes for the goats, the milking machine. So I didn't clean it last night because it got busy. I'm gonna do that and then go out there and milk them. I also have started to wean the goat kids. So I expect it's gonna be pretty loud this morning. I didn't give them their bucket last night, and they are officially living with the adult goats now. I've got everybody separated out. So I had originally put all the goat kids with the girl goats, but I noticed Maury, my intact buckling that I'm keeping this year, was acting very buckish with the little girls, and they're getting to the age now where it is technically possible for him to breed them. As soon as they can extend, they can breed, which is like anywhere about 6 weeks. And so they are 6 weeks old. Well, yeah, Maury is about 6 weeks old. He was born March 14th. So I put all the boys, the little boys, there's 4 of them. Noni's 2 wethers. Then I've got Gaia's wether, black and white wether, and then Maury. I put them in with the boys, Poe and Annie. I didn't actually think it was going to work because Annie and Poe fight pretty roughly, especially Poe. So I thought they were going to be too much for the little guys, but so far they've left them alone. So I've been checking pretty regularly because I don't want Poe headbutting them. But so far, the littles have kind of kept to themselves, and then the 2 bigger boys have done the same. So it seems to be working. So what I do now in the morning, and when I'm giving the little goats their milk bucket, is I've been putting the bucket in with the little girls when I go take all the big girls out to do milking. So the little girls have some time with the bucket. And then when I get done milking, I'll add the milk to the bucket, and then I'll give it to the boys. And that seems to be going okay. I'm sure they'll pick it up a bit better. I'm only on day 2 of doing this. So it's going pretty good. I'm curious to see what my setup looks like next year, because I'm getting to the point where the space that I've got all the goats in right now is not going to keep working to have that many goats, because I'm doubling my numbers this year, because I'm keeping 4 girls, and right now I only have 5 adult girls, and so I'm doubling that number. And then so far we have 3 wethers up for sale that haven't sold yet, which is not the end of the world. I'll end up keeping them, but I can't have 6 boys in that space. It's really only meant for like 2 or 3 goats. So my plan right now is to I'll probably end up using, there's a middle section of the barn. I haven't really showed you guys a whole lot yet, but because I do have an old dairy barn, they had in the middle taken out the metal poles and head gates, and so it has all of the like gutter system in the concrete, but it's just an open area, and I wasn't really sure what to do with that. I will probably outfit that for goats. So because the other part of it is Poe is he's getting big enough that if he really wanted to this fall when he's in rut and the girls are in heat right next to him, he could jump the fence. He just hasn't figured out that he can do it yet, but I know he can do it if he really wanted to, which is not going to work because I have 5 of his daughters now. So it's time for the boys to be separated from the girls so that they can't actually even see them. So I will probably work on that sometime this summer. I'm not in a huge rush right now, because I am fencing that pasture for the horses. Once I get the horses to the new pasture, I'm going to end up letting the goats outside. And so I'll probably rotate, like girls will get one day, then boys will get the second day, and so on and so forth. And so I'm not really in a huge rush to expand the space because I don't think they're going to be purely inside for much longer. So today it's pretty rainy. I'm probably going to do my morning chores, and then I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I did a lot of outside stuff yesterday because the weather was good. I have not actually checked the weather to see how long it's going to rain for, but everything is already pretty wet out there. It might just be a barn day. I might end up working on the tack room, which is coming along pretty well. I've got that wall done. I just need to do a couple pieces of trim. I do need to, and I need to finish cleaning everything out of the room and then scrape the remaining 2 walls and paint everything. So I might work on that today. I do have a lot of paperwork, officey things I need to do. We're getting ready to rent this space, this commercial kitchen, and I need to create a listing for that, as well as really finalize a lease agreement. And I need to look into contracts for horse boarding. So it might be a good day just to do some inside computer stuff. So we'll see. So you might be wondering why I'm using 2 different colored teak attachments. The dark blue is actually for cow, and the like tealy green is actually the cup for goat. But most of my girls actually have big enough teeth that I use the cow attachment. It's not a very big cow attachment. I actually don't think this would be great for standards. I don't know. I've obviously watched the videos from this product and they use these on cows. It's fine. And I use them on my mini cow, but I have good luck with using these for my goats too. Go-Go is actually the only one who really needs this size, because she's got just kind of itty bitty teeth. And so that's really the only goat that I use those for. So I probably don't need to take both gallons. It's kind of a lot to carry, but maybe I'll put one. Maybe I'll come back if I need a second one. Generally in the mornings I give the goat kids 2 gallons of store-bought milk, and then they get whatever goat milk I have. But now that I've started to wean them, I haven't quite figured out how much they need. I certainly am looking forward to not going to the store every 3 days to buy 12 gallons of milk. 3 or 4 days, you know. I don't want it to spill out the back, so I don't want to waste it. I'll just come back if I need it. It is kind of a lot to carry back all the time. But nearly done. Just a couple more weeks till they get weaned. Okay, so we've got Ultima, Suki, Anaya, and Gail just got pushed out. Here she comes again. So that's Anaya, the brown, Ultima, Suki, and let's see. There she is. There's Gail. Winnie has gotten so cuddly since she was spayed. Yeah, she looks so wet. Because you belong in the barn. Okay, go on. Go on, Winifred. All right, Ray. Ray, you want to go out or not? Are you saying hi? No, don't eat the daylilies. Okay, come on, let's go find Hyacinth. So, Ray's doing pretty good on the lead. She was a show cow before we got her. So, and she is young, but she did go to fair. So she does pretty good. She's obviously excited because Hyacinth is already down in the field. I have watched them together at the same time. Ray, quit being saucy. Together at the same time. It's a lot. Ray gets excited, and, you know, they don't lead like quite like horses do. And to be fair, that was before I put Ray's halter on. I had just the collar, and she's a little bit more unruly with the collar because you don't have as much control. But it's pretty fun walking your cows down to the field. Come on, Ray. It has been a little frustrating because Ray's getting kind of skinny since I put her on the alfalfa field, and she's still getting her normal hay, and suddenly she looks like she's dropping weight, which doesn't make sense to me at all. If anything, I thought they were going to start bloating when I put them on the field, but both of them look skinnier. Ray, quit. Hey, quit that. So I'm not sure what's going on. I might have to start graining her, which I don't want to do because I have all this alfalfa. Her due date is still, well, her due date is the 17th, I think. I still don't think she's pregnant. She doesn't look pregnant to me. Hey, ma'am, come on. Wrong way. Hey, come on. Okay, there you go. There you go. Have a nice time. So I've been putting them in here. This is the temporary arena that I made for last fall when the alfalfa was real low. And I just haven't moved it. And now that the alfalfa is growing up, I thought, well, I'll put the cows in here. And it's not hot, but they don't know that. And so they don't test it. And I've just been putting them down here after morning chores, and then I'll put them back up in the evening because I also haven't moved water down here. So they get put up at night still. They really like it, and honestly, I thought they would mow the alfalfa down more. I've had them on this field for about 6 to 8 hours a day for the last week, and it looks like they've hardly touched it. So I actually don't think I'm going to need as much space to rotationally graze them this year, because I actually think I could just fence in about twice as much space as this and just put them on it full time, and it would be fine. So yeah, they're really loving it. They're not showing any signs of bloat, and like I said, they're actually looking skinnier than before they were on it, which I don't know if that's just a hay thing, like maybe the being on hay 24/7 made them I don't want to say fatter, but like fuller, or maybe that this grass is just running through them more. I'm not really sure. But, you know, Ray is a standard, and she tends to be more dairy than Hyacinth. So she looks skinnier faster than Hyacinth does. Hyacinth, like, yes, she does look skinnier than she usually does, but she still looks fat. If you saw her, you'd still be like, oh, she's fat. Whereas we see her all the time and we're like, actually, she's looking a little skinny. Anyway, so I don't think Ray is pregnant, but I'm not going to do anything about it until after her due date. I think if she doesn't have a calf, I will probably call my AI tech and say, what do you have in the tank? Ideally, it would be a Jersey and heifer select, but I'm not going to be wasting more money on sexed mini Jersey semen because I've already used one straw on her and I had used two on Ellie. And they cost about $250 a piece. So I'm almost out the cost of a cow. And so at this point, and last time we AI'd Ray, we did have to cedar her, which means to sync her cycle, which isn't expensive, but I don't want to have to keep doing that every time because she just doesn't show any signs of heat is the problem. And so like, even if she hasn't been pregnant this whole time, she still has not shown me that she's in heat. So, we're getting to the age where it's make it or break it time, and she either needs to start getting pregnant or she might go in the freezer because you really want them to have their first calf by about the age of 3, and she's 2 this year. Yeah. So here we are with her. But on the flip side, I can't get rid of her until I get another cow because I don't want Hyacinth to be alone. And so Hyacinth is, yeah, I'm 100% positive she's bred. She's very obvious with her heat cycles and she looks very pregnant to me. She's due at the end of the month and she's due to a heifer straw to Sure Shot Pendleton, I think we did. And so I am leaning towards keeping her calf. All right, that's going to do it for us this week. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed our video. I'm going to include some photos of the apple blossoms this week because they've been looking really great. We'll see you next time. Thanks.